What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. My name is DFree, and in this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about the new upcoming Legends Rising banner. And I hope you all enjoy. Subscribe if you want to, of course, for more content. That being said, you know, when I did my video yesterday, by the way, if you haven't checked it out, you know, what I'm about to say, it applies to the video here now, too. But the video I put up yesterday, if you kind of thought it had like a negative vibe around it, maybe that's why you didn't click it, or you weren't interested and things like that. Maybe you're a fan of Dragon Ball Legends, but it wasn't a negative video, and not that a lot of people really perceived it that way, but a few did. But it was basically a video talking about ways they can improve Dragon Ball Legends for the people that are not enjoying it. And again, that was just positive feedback because I think that the game's really fun. I think a lot of people are enjoying it, but there are that, you know, subset of people that don't enjoy it for whatever reason. And one of the reasons is, and this is where it ties in, is the fact that they're not really putting out a lot of hyped characters. Like, you know, Android 17 and 18 are cool. You know, I freaking love Krillin. You know, Krillin's my fave, you know what I'm saying? But I can't say the same thing for everybody else. We had Broly in there as a one-off, and I can tell you right now that the Broly videos that I did were the most successful ones pretty much on this game, just because he's a really popular character in general. So I'm excited to see the release of BARDOCK in the game as well, because I think BARDOCK is a very, very, very popular character, and I think he's going to reinvigorate a lot of people, make them want to play a little bit more and things like that. So Legends Rising is back, and Legends Rising was the banner that introduced Broly the first time. Second time around, it was kind of a you know, because it introduced the Turles and the Cooler and the Goku, and those characters were good, but yeah, it's like whatever. Not a lot of people really care for Turles and just in general. So, you know, I'm excited for this, especially because literally people were just saying before this news came out that they want to see more hyped characters in the game. And of course, the game's trying to follow story of event, the storyline, like, yo, we're going to go through this saga and then this saga and release characters from that saga before we get to this saga. And they're not just going to drop, you know, Super Saiyan Blue freaking Vegito tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, that's something we have to combat, so I think this is a good opportunity for them to introduce a character that's very popular. I'm interested to see when they introduce Super Saiyan Bardock as well, because I really don't think that's something that they have to hold back on too much. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, last thing before we even get in there, the video I'm talking about now is in the description. If you want to watch it, I implore you to, because there's a lot of really, really interesting stuff in that video. I thought it was a really good discussion. But otherwise, so this is interesting. So we have Bardock, right? Then we have the Frieza that beat him and destroyed all the Saiyans effectively with that huge death ball. So can I just point out that if this freaking Frieza does not have type advantage against the freaking Bardock, I'm going to be insane. I'm not going to be insane. I'm going to be incensed. I guess I probably would be insane, but I'd be kind of annoyed because I'm nitpicking, and I know, but like it would just be, come on, please. Let's go ahead and jump in. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we're working with. New preview. By the way, I'm going to go back really quick. Well, I guess I didn't need to. So this stuff... Wait. It comes out tonight? So this normally whenever they are expiring is when it comes out. This is literally tonight. It could very well come out tonight. Okay, well that's interesting. So we might be back with some summons tomorrow. We'll see. But that's a weird time because normally stuff goes live post-maintenance at like 2 a.m. or whatever, but like there's no maintenance tonight. There was also maintenance like the other day. No, there is maintenance. SOB, what is happening here? From 10 p.m. to... Yeah, he does come out tonight. The maintenance is going to overlap. That's annoying. I knew there had to be maintenance for them to introduce it. God dang it! So he comes out tonight technically, but at 11, but the game would be a maintenance, so he comes out at freaking 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. or whatever. The new Legends Rising summon is coming soon. We're giving you a sneak peek at the new sparking characters in this summon. New characters, Bardock. Wow, green and blue? Really? The other way? Really? That's how you feel? Let me go back and see the other characters that are green and blue sparkings. Like, I know them off the top of my head for the most part. So we're getting a green sparking Saiyan. They've legit been doing that, just like they did it here with this yellow Goku, giving us our 5th sparking yellow. I mean, him and 18 came out at the same time. And what's available for blue? There's still Broly, there's Krillin, there's this Goku free-to-play. I mean, they're all, to an extent, kind of free-to-play because they give tickets, etc., etc., but the Goku's literally free-to-play. Okay, all right. Okay, and that's him being green is good because he does not clash with anybody as far as the Saiyan characters are concerned. But the thing about the Saiyans, and I've said this for a while, is Bandai, they had to have picked up on this They stopped doing this. They freaking stopped doing this, and for good reason. By the way, shout out to Renzi. He's still working on it. I had him add in the grids here. He's still working on the site. But Bandai, for good reason, stopped with this right here. They stopped doing this tag Saiyan stuff just because I think they realized, like, yo, that's actually insane. If we keep putting out tag Saiyan boosts, like, a lot of characters already had it. They kind of already had a lot of the stats, I think, covered anyway. But, like, they're like, if we keep doing this, this is going to be something that's, like, universally good forever. So I'm pretty certain on that same vein, he's going to have some sort of boost to his saga that he's from or whatever they list him as a tag. Or maybe just the green color boost. They've been doing the dual color, the dual stat mono color, like base strike attack and strike defense or whatever, you know, blast attack and strike attack, you know, things like that, just for the single color for a bit now. They've been doing that for several banners, actually. Anyways, Bardock, the Rebellious Warriors, finally joining the fight. Bardock, famous for his toughness, is a strike specialist. So they're blatantly saying he's a melee type, or he's, I guess, to a lesser extent, it's possible he's a defense type or something like that that really wants to focus on melee damage. Like, for example, Vegeta, the Red Vegeta, Super Saiyan, he is a defense type, but for all intents and purposes, he's a melee unit because everything he does boosts melee damage and stuff. He even has an ability that allows him to spam melees. So, yeah, he's a melee unit, but he's a defense type. So, we'll see how this guy shakes out, but I'm pretty certain he's going to be a melee type, which isn't bad. I think that the Saiyans have a lot of access to melee units. But you know what they'll do is they'll probably just give him 1 and 1 for the arts cards, 1 blast, 1 melee, or hopefully they give him something else, by the way, like access to like a green card or something like that, because the only character I think in the game right now that holds a green card is Ginyu, unless a new one's came out recently that I haven't paid attention to too much, but hopefully they do something like that. He'll never let an opponent escape. Sounds like they can't switch out. So keep an eye out for his main ability, which has a never before seen effect. Sounds like he's going to either restrict switches, or when they try to switch, or they do switch successfully, whatever, the substitution counter goes up like 5 to 10 or whatever. He's probably going to restrict switches. When they switch in, they're probably going to be locked in there for a little bit if you use the main ability. I'm interested to see like his unique abilities. Okay, this character, like, he has a nasty potential. Like, he has a nasty potential to be one of the best characters in the game. Just simply because color, for one. Simply because he's a Saiyan and not a hybrid Saiyan. That's a bonus because he gets access to all those tags. That you know, the base units are actually really good still. Getting up to level 1500, like the base launch units like the Super Saiyan Goku, the base form Purple Vegeta, those characters are still really freaking good. And 17 is still among the top characters in the game. Well, he's new, but he's among the top characters in the game. I'd say top 3 or 4 at this point. Piccolo is still up there too, regardless of whether people like to admit it or not. Piccolo is still an insanely good unit. He's, in fact, the most popular unit in the game at this point. It was actually pointed out in the news too, by the way. But yeah, Piccolo's up there too. And this guy literally replaces that random Piccolo that you see on these Saiyan teams, basically, and that we've always seen on the Saiyan teams. It's just a random Piccolo. Like, if this guy can do some sort of ally healing, like Krillin and Piccolo do and stuff, if he can do something like that, like, he has a very real opportunity to be, like, one of the best characters in the game. Like, seriously. Especially also because he can counter Broly, who's not very common. Well, he's very common. He was, like, number 5 on the list of most popular characters, or most used characters. He's common, but, like, he's kind of not common because he hasn't come back yet. So if you didn't get him when he came out, you just kind of SOL. So I'm interested to see what happens there. We have Frieza here. Sparking Frieza. First form Frieza is also gracing us with his presence in Legends Rising. When storming with strike arts, he won't be intimidated by the kickback of enemies' blast arts? Wait, what? Okay. To me, that sounds like if he's dashing, because if you're at a distance, right? If you're at a distance and you're dashing in with your strike arts card, what happens is the game will prioritize the blast arts. If your opponent uses a blast art, you know, you'll get knocked back. It sounds like he kind of doesn't get knocked back, which is actually wild to me. I don't think it's game-changing, but I think it's pretty interesting. That's what it sounds like. There are other instances where the strike art can basically be prioritized over the blast art, particularly at a close range. If you're at a close range, you basically hit them before they can start firing blasts. So it sounds like he can do that same thing from a distance and just kind of fly through them, because if they launch a single key blast, for example, you're going to fly right through it. If you're using the melee art, you know, you're going to fly right through the single key blast, the tap blast. It sounds like that's what he does. That's an interesting one. Behold the Emperor's unrivaled combat style, totally unique from existing ones. Well, Bardock sounds more interesting, not just because he's Bardock and he's hype, but, you know, and of course we already have like a glut of Friezas, which, by the way, that's not a bad thing. We're going to talk about the Frieza momentarily, but Bardock seems more hype. I'm interested to see what they do with Frieza, though, because I think the preview for Frieza doesn't sound anywhere near as good as what Bardock sounds like, just off the bat. So he's going to have something interesting, something unique for him, like they're saying here. So that's basically the gist of it. Now, the thing about Frieza is he has access to some really, really good support. Like, this Frost is a really good support for him. He has access to the other Frieza race members. Unfortunately, there's no Frieza race or Frieza Force Z tag, I don't think, in the game. But again, he can get some really good support by being a blue element character from all these units, right? So that's another thing that the Frieza has working for him in particular. And when it comes to the matchups, unfortunately, red is probably the most shafted color in the game, these three Sparkings, just because there's so many good blue characters. For example, Pan was really good on launch, kind of got pretty bad. Now she's really good again with the level 1500 and then access to Android 18, finally a female warrior that can help her. And 18 specifically has boosts for female warriors like Pan as well. So it kind of works both ways, you know, base strike attack and strike defense, things like that. Pan is a lot better than she used to be. At least for the longest time. So that's one of the units that's really, really good. That kind of shafts red in a way. And otherwise, you know, we have this Goku who's not talked about as much, but still really solid. We have Broly, which I didn't mean to click him open, but an insane unit, right? And then we have access to Krillin, who's actually one of the better characters in the game, too, because he also does the ally heal. There's a lot going on. So I don't know in particular, you know, how good... I kind of switched what I was saying there because I was talking about the reds. But there's a lot of pans and blues and stuff like that that are really good in the game. But the reds are kind of shafted in particular because we have access to all these blues, and the Frieza's going to come in too. So, you know, and to my point, he doesn't really have a matchup in other scenarios, and because red isn't super prevalent. And red would be more prevalent, though. I think if this Goku really takes off, or the androids really take off, or Gohan sees a resurgence, red would be more prevalent. But I don't think it is right now. So we'll see what happens, but Bardock definitely, I think, has a higher potential to be more relevant in the game, not just because of name or stature or popularity, but just because of usage than Frieza does. And otherwise, I think Frieza has potential, though. So we'll see. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe if you want, of course, for more content. Have an awesome day. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch you all in the next Dragon Ball Legends video.